So to give everybody a fair shake, as I always do, we have all the information from now, the big regional event from EX Burst, comboing with Eggman events to kind of bring you a massive data breakdown that I want to showcase for all of you guys to enjoy. So without further ado, let's get into the video, talk about all the great talking points that this has brought. So guys, as we know, our top two from the finalists got to play off. So we have Jujutsu Kaisen Blue and Purple Code Geass as our first and second. This is a monumental event because having the grand finals be these two faced off, they did a great job. You know, it takes a lot of courage to get up onto these massive events and everything like that, especially with, you know, such a brand new game into the format. It creates a plethora of data to give. So as you can see, Kento Namami took first and then Purple Bleach second. Kind of just poetic, right? Because Blue Jujutsu Kaisen has been kind of like falling on the wayside. A lot of people were banking on Purple Code and stuff like that to kind of just take these events down. But it looks like it just wasn't Purple Code's day, nor was it Green Code, nor was it even Red Code's day to take down these major events. And again, this comes down from the ideology of single elimination, best of one, you know, puts a lot of pressure. If your hand bricks, you brick. And that's a lot about base deck building yourself. So something to think about when you come down to these higher level events. These are long events. They're not easy events that just blow off to the wayside. You know, these are a lot of players practicing, understanding their decks. You know, these are very skilled, high caliber players. You know, you can't just knock them off for what they've done. And great job, guys, really great job. So as you can see, we have Orlando's 2025 Card Fest Saturday and Sunday event. As you can see, Saturday was they're about the same actually. 7 Blue Jujutsu Kaisen decks, top 16 for both days. You know, you have Robin Swan, and then you had Snake Christopher, Purple Bleach Rush. So both decks played off, and it was Blue Jujutsu Kaisen. So yeah, we have 3 Purple Code Geass in this one, 3 Hunter x Hunter, 2 Green Code Geass, 1 Red Code Geass. But Sunday kind of put a little bit of a twist here. You know, we still have the normal Blue Jujutsu Kaisen, Blue, Purple Bleach, you know, Green Code Geass, Purple Code Geass, and Yellow Jujutsu Kaisen kind of just moved into the wayside. So as you know, we'll look at Saturdays first, then Sundays, so we kind of get a good list. But outside of that, let's see what fate has in store. So here is the blue first place of the whole event, the one that took the whole enchilada. So if you take a look, it is a Kento Namami focused deck with 3 of the Raid Kentos, 4 of the color trigger Kento Namami, and 0 cost Kento Namami at 3. This is why I swapped them up, my bad. But they are playing 4 Gojos. So they went with less Maki Zenin and went with, you know, 4 Gojos to make sure that you're always live. So once you get 2 Gojos up, and even from my experience, the world is yours. This isn't stopped unless your opponent can suspend your shenanigans. And then you just play the deck very interestingly. Do you need to throw down a body? You throw down a body. Do you need to raid? You can raid. But the fact that this deck has so much, you know, different lines of plays that you can think of, especially once you get to 4, it makes it a very scary deck to handle against. A lot of players aren't used to it, and I really do like Raid Kento Namami from a personal experience, because I think the deck is very fundamentally the better version, but just me. So let's take a look at second place. So this is a more common place of what you would expect for a Sukuna player to be playing. You know, 2 Gojos, 4 Maki Zenin, 4 Inu, 4 Nubara, 4 Yuji Itadoris, 4 of the 3-cost Yuji Itadoris, 4 of the Yuji Itadori 2-cost, because again, they want to raid the Sukunas. If you have majority of your targets are Sukuna based, so they all want to be on Yuji Itadori as best as they can. So you need to max out very comfortably if you're on 8, 10 targets. So that means you have, 10 raids, so you have to be ready to be able to raid any time of the day. So something to think about, right? Then we do have purple code here. Purple code being very interesting. This is basically what you kind of expect, right? C2's ability to draw when you use 2 action point characters, which this Lelouch plus this Lelouch plus their removal spell, means that you're going to gain some decent tempo, especially if you use the removal spell and then C2. You just gained so much value out of that. Even just drawing 2 cards is just fundamentally a lot more powerful than a lot of decks with no drawback, really. Even in early game, you can play her down and draw a card. So then we do have the none other than Hisoka Kurapika. Even a lot of players are surprised this deck is popping up, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 13 non-triggers. So that's kind of helpful. You want to keep your non-triggers low. And again, this sometimes just matters, right? I mean, Netero being Netero plus Kurapika's, Setzers, Zappiles, Melodies being popping up more and more, and it's going to just stay in the deck long term because again, early aggression with this card is always great. Your opponent, as long as this thing is still living through their attack after attack while your opponent is just trying to set up, sometimes really does help out. Then we do have another Sukuna Kento Nami, but they are playing Todo. So if you guys don't know what Todo kind of does, I actually faced against this deck, and it's kind of interesting to take a look at. You have Nubaras, but this Todo being able to produce upwards to a 5th attack to 6th attack in 1 turn, especially if you have 2 of these Todos, and being able to swap and just change around what you need to is very scary. But also, if you look at what's really unique to this list, 3, 6, 10 restand triggers, and this can lead to your opponent having a bad time. I like that they are playing a small Kento Nami package where if it goes off, it goes off. If not, it's okay. So stuff like that does matter from time to time. Then we do have another Kento Nami list here, and it's just playing 2 Yujis, 2 of the Kentos. This seems to be more commonplace for a lot of players because they do like both, and sometimes you want to be able to remove something, or do you want to just be able to draw some cards to be able to trigger this sooner. But if you look at this, they aren't playing any Sukuna, which is kind of interesting to me, right? Like, at the end of the day, you really want to have at least the Sukunas, because even if you are doing Kento Nami the best you can, it takes time. I mean, I love that they're playing the 2-cost Yuji Itadori to hopefully dig a little deeper and kind of just set up, because again, if you can dig and just make it so that your Sukuna fingers are where you need them after you dig for them, and then set up the deck in a way that you know where your cards are going to be, sometimes that does come up. But at the end of the day, really interesting list. And then another Sukuna list. This one, instead of going with the Kento Nami, they're going with Sukuna plus Kento. Again, I like ratio technique collapse. This removal spell is the main reason why you're playing Kento Nami, because of the fact that it doesn't allow a lot of decks to get their pieces back. Bottom decking a card in this game is good as dead. It's good as removal, right? Your opponent just can't answer response it effectively, and that's sometimes what it needs. Then here we go. This is Rachel's list. I really like her list from a standpoint, and a lot of, adaption and stuff like that. It's just cool to see. I think this is Rachel's list. Might not be. This might be Rachel's list. No, not Rachel's. Melodies, everything like that. Kurapika just doing well in this format. It's always surprising to me. Then we have Red Code Gios. So if players aren't really knowing what's going on with this, it's a very powerful deck with the ability to rush down. I like the Shirley tech. The Shirley tech is quite interesting if it loads up. So Shirley basically activate main, rest, switch it to resting, draw a card, then place one card from your hand at the sideline, help digging you faster, and then basically add one red event card from your sideline to your hand. So this allows you to get a reuse of your, House of Horrors, because again, sometimes you just need House of Horrors to remove another threat to just get in that lethal. And if you blew your load beforehand, you're just not going to be able to activate it effectively. But with the combination of like Suzaku plus Asteroid Academy, you're able to apply a lot of crazy damage. This Suzaku lets you play a body for free, which you can use Asteroid Academy to do so. And then basically raid Suzaku to get Suzaku ready. And then boom, you can deal, 3 damage, get another attack in with Suzaku, then restand, and hopefully this leads to 3 damage, bringing your opponent down to 5 life by turn 2. Sometime turn 3. That is sometimes scary against a lot of decks, because a lot of decks can't handle that early aggression sometimes, and sometimes those combo plays are really scary, just because constantly Asteroid Academy will just restand your shenanigans and deal some damage. Here's another Gurren. So maxed out on the raid targets, which is kind of interesting. Again, not a bad call, especially for deck building. We don't know how the perfect ratios are, but with the raids we do have, this might just be the best way of doing it, right? Then we do have Lancelot. So this list is playing Siegfried. So if you don't know what Siegfried does, it's a very interesting combo piece. So when play, add one card other than Siegfried from your hand to your sideline. So if your opponent has done well and kept you at bay and got rid of your Lancelot Air Cavaliers or your Lancelot, this Siegfried will get it back for you if they removed it. So then you can instantly raid again. So this just really does matter sometimes. And being able to get on, giving an access to your Jeremiah, your 2 energy Jeremiah sometimes does come up from time to time. I mean, even if you just had the 0 cost step Jeremiah in your list, Orange Boy, it just might matter. So that's something to think about. Then you do have another Kento Damimi list with Shrine spiced in as a one-of. Some Kentos actually do play one Shrine, because at least if you do have Sukuna fingers, at least once your Sukuna is live, you can apply one more bit of damage, because the Shrine should help you to get there. Then we do have Purple Ichigo. So this is raidless bleach, as we come to know and love. Players have been teching the Rukia in so they can at least sometimes raid the Rukia, which is vitally strong. Then we do have I think we just passed into I think we're, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 8, 10, 12. Yep, this list was the second place Renji Rush list. So very powerful deck even going into now, just because, again, playing against Kento, you're almost doing the same thing, right? You're just applying pressure, you're playing bodies, and just doing anything you can just to keep your opponent off balance. Renji just being able to be a 2 damager is sometimes good enough, right? Now, this is the Sukuna Yuji Itadori list with 2 shrines. Again, just up to players. They are playing the Gigi. This girl basically, when attacking, draw a card, trash a card. Some players actually find this vitally strong. I don't. But then we do have a Lancelot with Cornelia's mech, and this card sometimes does matter. Like, I like the list with it because I think it just adds that early aggression. If not, you don't even need to go crazy. You can just set up, just play this down into the front line, and your opponent still has to answer this thing. It's a 4K that's just doing what it wants and can be rated from your hand if need be, which then can basically look at the top 2 cards of your deck and produce some energy line effect. So I think that matters from time to time and can lead to being very strong. And I think this is just smart playing, right? I think we need to adapt with Lancelot, and I love that a lot of players started adapting. You know, this one has Colin being able to search her mechs in it for a purple code, so nothing too crazy there. Then we do have, excuse me. What happened? What happened? Where'd you go? I missed you so. So we have this one here. Okay. So Yuji Itadori, very stock list. Then, yeah. Then we do have another Lancelot list. They are playing the Cornelia's mech as well, and I think this is just where we're starting to see it. Like, the early game, you need to be playing the Cornelia fighter. And I think this is just a smart adaptation, allowing players to adapt and be more aggressive and play the deck how they want to. So, and then we do have the Yuji Itadori again. Wow. Then we do have Nubara Gojo. So again, this deck does quite well against aggressive strategies, especially because the Gojo is a very tough threat to deal with from time to time. Your opponent has to can't just easily remove this card unless they use their removal in the check. So Unlimited Void being able to lock things down as long as you have a Gojo on board sometimes is just scary enough for your opponent to not be able to do anything from time to time. And that's just what you need to get in those pokes very comfortably and easily. And then here we go. Oh, Ichibei right here and now. 4 Ichigos, 4 Renji, 4 Rukia. So it's raidless Bleach with Ichibei in the list, being able to just unsuspend 4, 8, I mean 6 restanders. Not a bad trigger lineup. And then we do have Sukuna's, just very common list we've been seeing even in the event. It's just basics. Taking a look, another Sukuna list, very similar, just nothing too crazy. Then we do have another, wow, they are playing Byakuya Kuchiki with no raid target Byakuya, maybe just to make people think that there is a Byakuya in here. So if you know, you know, but at the end of the day, really solid list. Taking a look here, Kento Namami, nothing too crazy here. They are playing 4 of the 3 1-cost Kento plus the 2 AP 4-cost Kento Namami. Not a bad deal, right? Then purple code Gias being Reason to Live is interesting to me. So let's take a look at what Reason to Live. Play 1 purple card with 3 or less required energy and 1 AP cost from your sideline. Set it resting onto the field. Not bad, being able to filter back some pieces in once they cleared it. Not a bad idea. Then finally, the final one, playing a more closer to what you'll be expecting once we have the complete squad 0. You know, Ichibei plus, you know, Tenjiro being able to get pieces back, and then Royal Palace to help you mill. You know, you kind of come to know this, right? Plus the ability with Byakuya Kuchiki being able to, you know, remove threats by making them a little bit smaller does come up from time to time. So just comboing right can lead to being really good. So guys, ooh, one more deck actually. I thought this was the last one. But we have Maki Zenin, Kento's, Yuji Itadori's, but no raid Sukuna's from the starter deck, so they are playing this Yuji Itadori to kind of just dig a little deeper to get to those fingers. So again, it's up to you how you want to build the deck, but, you know, unlike the normal, you know, Yuji list where you're tossing cards, this one wants to use their Sukuna's fingers to just dig a little deeper with their Yuji stuff, so it's not a bad trade-off, right? But yeah, we have Champion, Jujutsu Kaisen, and then followed up by Purple Bleach. So great matches all around. And again, check out Eggman events and EX Burst for all the great content that you'll ever want to cover. Just check in the tournament because it'll just let you know. So guys, What did you think of the video? Let me know down in the comments. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy, and subscribe to the channel. Peace.